Today, I'm the Executive Director of the Samaritan Counseling Center, Kerry Kuhlman. Kerry's been at this now for a couple, 3 years with the Youth Task Force. He's a personal friend, but the Samaritan Center, through their counselors and with Kerry's leadership, has really been working with us on this Youth Task Force, particularly on the parenting side. You know, how it's to be a better parent in the 21st century in the electronic age. And Kerry, I know we've had one huge event, and then we've had some mini events. So talk about that, and just talk about the successes that that you feel that we've made.
Okay, so thank you, Mayor. This is an initiative that's really all about your initiatives with the youth and trying to do something to better the whole environment. And the parenting part is one of your three-legged stools with mentoring and then conflict resolution. And so when we concentrate on the parenting, the environment that we're in right now as parents, it was different than when you and I were parenting. The stresses on the kids, the way that they handle themselves and the way that they grow up is just so complex. You know, when we were growing up and raising our kids, certainly there was bullying and suicides, but not to the extent and the complexity that we're seeing now. Also, parents need to know about the digital age and how that plays into the bullying and suicide and what's going on with the kids, and again, the distractions and the pornography and the information and some of these websites and apps that we don't even know about as parents. And so what we're trying to do with those initiatives is to give the parents some indication and some information to kind of get in front of the curve as to what's happening out there with their children.
And how to work with their kids in the social media environment that we have.
Exactly. And another thing that we do, or another subject that we addressed was raising the strong-willed child, and what we talked about in that kind of session was what behavior is normal and what's not normal.
In April a year or so ago, we had one big citywide event.
Correct.
Since then, we've had some smaller events in more community and school neighborhood environments.
Correct.
Talk a bit about that and what we're planning for the next one.
Well, we went to two schools. We went to Highland Gardens Elementary School and had a family fun night, and really had a nice crowd at that. Over 200 people when you counted the students and the parents and the people who put the program on. And then we just did a West Side Family Fun Day with over 100 parents at Carver on a Saturday morning, and we're reaching people slowly but surely. We're reaching people, and it's interesting that we're here this morning because we're planning the next session. Where do we go? Where do we go from here? We're finding that if we break it down and go to smaller venues, that it's probably more effective than a large venue that takes up a lot of resources. Right. And when I say resources, it's the people that commit to it. It's the people resources.
It's a little more intimate, a little more personal. If you're in, like for instance, Chisholm, we're going to have a prayer walk. We had one in Greater Washington. That's another part of this whole initiative. But you know, from those prayer walks, we might have some follow-on. And so from that standpoint, what the Samaritan Counseling Center has done is reaching out probably to 1,000 families.
Probably.
And hopefully if we can just save one. We can save one kid from committing suicide, or one kid from getting involved in drugs, or one kid from stealing a gun from his parents.
And it's one family at a time. You know, you've been at this a long time, and it's one family at a time. And let me take this opportunity to compliment some folks at the Montgomery Public School System. Their whole parent engagement department is working very hard when we do these outreaches, these parental outreaches. They're also working on that conflict resolution leg of your three-legged stool. So I really have to compliment Camille Finley and Ferlisa Dodson, Stephanie Howard, and QB Hayes. They're all part of that parental engagement department of the public school systems, and we're all just working real hard to make a difference.